can choose a government, or whether we are always going to be left with governments determined by accidents. Beware of foes of this new Constitution. They are a class of individuals who seek their own way of living to the detriment of the rest of us. Beware of the foes of this new Constitution who seek to divide us and destroy us, only as they aggrandize themselves. Beware of men of little faith.
We are men of great faith, sir, but not in folks such as yourself.
Oh, well, I am just a messenger for individuals such as the esteemed Mr. Franklin. Mr. Franklin, who back during the days of the Revolution, back when General Washington and I worked through that awful winter at Valley Forge.
Here we go again. Ad nauseam, Hamilton.
We remember.
Here we go.
We remember the slogan, and that was even made into a flag, "Join or die," that Mr. Franklin gave us. And at the Constitutional Convention recently completed in Philadelphia, it was Mr. Franklin who stood up and said, "It's not perfect, but there's not going to be a perfect Constitution ever because we are individuals." And he said, even as he left that day being helped out because of his age, a woman approached him and said, "So what kind of government have you given us?" And he said, "A republic, madam, if we can keep it." And those words strike to me today as here we are in New York deciding whether we will join or die. Now, you have before you in a format here on about page, I don't know, 91, 89, somewhere right there. You have a page on page 89 that will tell you some of the more interesting arguments that Patrick Henry is going to propose as to why this new Constitution is going to be defeated. And yet, through reflection, he has finally chosen to forget the arguments about why this new Constitution is so very necessary. I would like to go over some of those arguments as to why it is absolutely necessary. Look around us, folks. Look around us. The Articles of Confederation have caused economic ruin and decay everywhere. We have no national currency. We have trade wars between the states that gather together in this firm league of friendship under the Articles of Confederation, an imbecilic form of government. An imbecilic form of government that chose to divide rather than to unite. Oh, it got us through the war, Mr. Henry will tell you. But I never want to live in a time where we have to survive with rags on our feet like we did at Valley Forge. Where were you then, Mr. Henry?
Oh, here we go.
Where were you?
Get on with it, Hamilton.
We have created a form of government that is Republican in its nature. A Republican form of government deriving the power from the consent of the governed. But it goes beyond that. In this new Constitution, I want you to join with individuals who have staked a claim in this new government. General George Washington, We've already talked about Mr. Franklin. But let us not also forget that there are individuals such as Mr. Thomas Jefferson, who did not attend the convention but writes that it was a great form of government with just a couple of things lacking, but can be changed. And James Madison, and Mr. Wilson, and Mr. Sherman, and Mr. Morris from Pennsylvania. And yes, even the governor of Virginia, Mr. Randolph, who has decided to join. He did not sign the Constitution on the last day. But think of the man who can look at this new Constitution and look at his country and say, I love my country, that I would rather assent to the lopping off of this limb than agree to the dissolution of this union. It's an important decision that we're going to make here. It is a very important decision. Did you bring a minstrel band?
Maybe my friend Mr. Jefferson calling me to ask me to repudiate what you just said.
If you will remember, Mr.
I know Mr. Jefferson, and you are not Thomas Jefferson.
That is true. Even though I was the group of men that Mr. Jefferson did refer to as a group of demigods, not demagogues.
Shall I produce letters from Mr. Jefferson about you, sir? Is that what you desire me to do? You provoked me, sir.
Mr. Henry.
I did not intend to bring up your ancestry, sir.
He is a part of the gentry of Virginia. I am a humble person.
A humble person. Not a grain of humility in your body, Hamilton.
I remember that one time. Just, Mr. Henry, control yourself. I know that you were beaten down. I know that when Virginia chose to ratify the Constitution, you were repudiated and embarrassed before all of your friends. I know that. And so now you're trying to make a comeback. But sir, this is New York. And in New York, we know a good thing.
New York knows you well, sir.
We know a good thing. We know that we have a choice today. And the choice is really a hard choice, but an important one. Because you see, when Virginia ratified, what Mr. Henry fails to tell you is that it was not the 9th state to ratify, it was the 10th. And when you have Virginia ratifying, and Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts, you've got the larger states, and a new government will be formed. But what we have to decide in New York is, do we want to come in and be a part of that new government, or will we wait and join later as a second-tier state? Because if we are not present when that new government is formed, we will have no say with our sister states as they create a new nation, and we will be left on our own. That's the issue. That is the real issue. We either join now and make sure that we have our rightful place at the table, or we will come in later on begging for a chair and the seat at the table. I say that we join now. It's important for us to do so. But the reasons why make it important. We have a Republican form of government. Power is divided in this new government. Power is divided between a central government which has limited power and the states. But we were not satisfied with just dividing power between the central government and states. No, instead, we separated the powers of the government. Because as my colleague from Virginia, Mr. James Madison, has reminded us, the accumulation of all power, legislative, executive, and judiciary, in the same hands, whether of one or a few, and whether a hereditary or self-appointed or even elected, is the very definition of tyranny. And so we divided powers between the legislative branch and the executive branch and the judicial branch. But we did not stop there even. We gave each of the branches of government the power to resist the encroachments of the others. In short, we provided for a Republican form of government which is a safe government.